Hey guys, on today's episode of Still Up Sports, we recap reaching 100 subs on YouTube. We recap our second 24-hour stream, and then we're going to go into who may be some possible Broncos trade candidates. All that and more, coming soon, guys. See you in a second. Hey everyone, welcome to Still Up Sports. My name is Cody Chapa, your host, where we normalize late night sports talk, starting with the Denver Broncos, but also just talking about whatever you would like. We talk any kind of sports, but we also talk about the Broncos. Thank you everyone for popping into the chat. We got a fun little discussion today. First bit of news, guys. We got some good stuff because we hit our second 24-hour stream last weekend, and it was fun, man. I'm getting better at doing that. It just takes a little more preparation, and it's a blast once you do it and when you actually are fully prepared. So, guys, I just want to pull this up. We're at 102. This is awesome, guys. So cheers to you guys. You want a shout out? There's your shout out. Drake Mondragon, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Let's see. My mother's still up. Absolutely. Thank you for being here, guys. We were going to go live yesterday, but I decided to just push it back for a day. We're not doing any 24-hour streams this weekend, guys. We're going to take a week or two off from that because this weekend we're going to be going to watch a soccer game and actually go, relax for the weekend, while also we're going to spend the weekend working on trying to make thumbnails and then also put out some shorts and stuff. Besides that, we're going to try to clip some of our stuff from the last two 24-hour streams. We're going to go back in and we're going to clip some of that stuff. But honestly, guys, just awesome. Just thank you to you guys. Shout out to you guys for helping us get to 102. Man, Broncos country, just late night sports, the community, it's been amazing to see grow. So many people didn't even understand that this idea made sense. And to me, it made sense. But there's always going to be a sports fan. There's always going to be one that's up late at night. So this is their chance to get in there and, have some fun, engage with someone that's live and talking to you. No reruns, nothing like that. You have some live engaging sports talk. We're filling the gap between the traditional radio and traditional media out there in Denver, as well as other, content creators that may be not up at this time of night, guys. So that's what we do here at Still Up Sports. We just normalize late night sports talk. Again, my name is Cody Chapa. If you're joining me right now, it is currently 2:11 a.m. Mountain Time. So thank you guys for popping in. We have, like I said, we have some fun topics. We're here celebrating the fact that we just hit 102 yesterday or so. We just, on the 24-hour stream, we hit 101. So we just went up another one the other day. So just nothing but love for you guys. Thank you so much for helping me normalize this idea of late night sports talk. You see this little watery orange background behind us. Soon that won't be there. We're having a background made for us. It may take a week or two. We'll see how long, she gets it done. But she's working on a nice little neat background for us. Something that looks cool, something that looks original, something that fits our concept with late night sports talk. Besides that, down the line, we'll see how she does, because I may let her in the future. Because with a lot of her work she does with some of these people, guys, she can animate these people pretty good. She knows how to animate some of these guys really well. And I've never been one to want me animated onto the channel for some of my graphics. But I may take at least one graphic or one background with me animated on it, maybe with the cats or something, guys. Me, the cats, the dog. Maybe I can have one of those made for the show. That would be kind of cool, right? But yeah, guys, so we're going to get into, trade candidates at one point. We're recapping this 24-hour stream. We're going to discuss the fact that because not this week, not the week after, but the weeks after until training camp, we will be doing 24-hour streams. We're just taking a 2-week break because this weekend we're doing a lot of technical stuff with the channel, learning how to make thumbnails, clipping videos, maybe working on some stuff. Besides that, we're also going to be going to a soccer game on the 4th of July, take a day off from the channel and step away, while also still filming content at that because it's going to be my first professional soccer game. So we're going to be recording content from there too. I snagged an awesome ticket. So normally like the premium would be $60-$80. I was able to get in for 50 something bucks, and I'm gonna be able to get like the all I can eat drink and stuff, so that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a Las Vegas Lights game, so my first soccer game, so it's gonna be neat, guys. We're gonna have fun. I'm gonna film some content for the channel because this is a sports channel, guys. It may be a Broncos themed channel, and we do hit Denver Broncos, especially in the regular season. It's just we are in what would be the worst period of the off season, guys. Every player is off either on vacation or there's nothing going on. Radio, media, TV, content creators on YouTube, everyone's just scrambling to think about what they're going to talk about. So, while we're here and we're just up late at night, we got some fun stuff. We're going to dabble into maybe who may or who may not get traded, but we get to really get into the fact that last 24-hour stream, guys, we crushed it. We did it better than the first time, guys. That first time, it was really hour 22, 23 was really killing us. We were able to really hit it strong going into the second stream with better sleep, longer sleep, more preparation, better food, better hydration. It was awesome. So we killed it with that last stream. That 24-hour stream was amazing, guys. It really helped us get up here. So I'm grateful for all of you guys for popping in and making this possible. While we're here, I'm going to let you take a look, but go check us out on YouTube. If you're watching on X, pop over onto YouTube. We're at 102 right now. Go subscribe. We're not going to stop. We're going to keep making late night sports content, and we're going to normalize late night sports talk, of course. Normally we do these streams Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays at 1:30 a.m. Mountain Time, but it's the off season, so everything is scheduled to change. Well, subject to change during the off season because you never know what we'll be doing on a random weekend or what we'll be filming. But yeah, guys, so just make sure you pop in. We're going to be doing more 24-hour streams, just not this weekend. And then the following weekend, we're going to try to cover day 3 of the SAC Summit and International Fight Week. So we're going to be down on the strip for those weekends. And we're going to still do a watch along, not this Sunday, but not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. We're going to be doing watch alongs for the UFC fight. So we are going to watch the UFC fight at least. Just we're going to do it from the house, guys. We're not going to the actual fight. We got a trip to Denver to plan for. So we are going to go cover, at least try to get into the weigh-in and the press conference because it seems like those are, whoever gets there can get in. So we're going to make sure we can get that to happen. But that's just how we kill time in the off season. Sometimes we dabble in some other sports in the off season, especially I love combat sports. Besides Broncos, my second favorite sports love is combat sports, all kinds. But we're going to make sure that we use that as a jumping off point when it comes to what we do to pass some of this time on these 24-hour streams, especially because sometimes that doing some watch alongs within the 24-hour streams that can help. But yeah, guys, so we're on YouTube. We're at 102. Go subscribe. We're on X. We're at 105 on X, guys. Just go follow on X. If you have an X, go check it out. And then on TikTok, guys, we're at 27. So we've gone up by 1. We're trying to keep going up on TikTok. TikTok's a little harder to keep going up on. I'm not neglecting it anymore. Hopefully this week I'm going to figure out how to add TikTok onto the list of streams, platforms that we stream on. So then it'll be YouTube, X, and TikTok. And then every once in a while we'll do the occasional just on Instagram stream, just for the Instagram crowd. which let's jump right into that. Instagram right here, guys. 113 followers. Thank you guys so much. Just go hop over there if you have an Instagram. We have all these platforms, and they're open to all you guys. So yeah, guys, and then we're here at 102. So I just want to say thank you, guys. We had to spend a little bit of this time on the show just to show you guys that, because that's all not possible without the help of you viewers like you guys. You make this stuff possible. Late night sports talk is just a concept until everyone's doing it, or until we normalize this stuff, guys. So that's all we're doing. And I just want to say thank you, guys. So that's our little shout out to that awesome stream we had. We had some fun guests still. We had Mike pop on still. We had Petros, we had Petros pop on. We had Jay Weaver pop on. Yeah. And even though Petros and his internet didn't work out, we're going to be doing a nice, proper, actual follow-up interview with him. So we're going to make sure that he gets his own period of time, whether we pre-record it or we do it live still. We're going to make sure that we do that, because we want to really have Petros back on so you guys can really get to hear him talk, because he was talking about, he's excited for Jonah Ellis. He's excited for Bo to come back. I'm excited for Jonah. I'm excited for Bo. I'm excited for this whole team. This whole team is hungry, guys. These Denver Broncos, they're very, very hungry. Already one of the best rosters in the league. And then to have that kind of, heartbreaking loss, to suffer that kind of heartbreaking loss, it's disappointing in the AFC Championship. But with that, guys, all I'm saying is that it opens up the possibility for this team to just come out really, really hot. Some people are worried about that first 6 games. I have them going 4-2. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out the gate hotter than we've ever seen before. And that's just because they are very, very motivated. And there was not much install for this first time, play caller in Davis Webb. There was not much install for him. It was just a little bit of tweaks. There was no real install, just a few changes. That's all. So I'm not too worried there, guys. Yep. If you see me right now, I'm rocking the Greek Goonsville. Bean burrito, bean burrito, bean burrito, bean burrito. Yep. Hey, you do what you got to do. We got some funny chats in here. So we have the vertical stream up, and that sometimes allows extra people to see. So sometimes, if you're on your phone right now, you can check the shorts, and we're live in the shorts section. So that's why we're here right now, guys. But yeah, so there you go. We'll pop your stuff up. Even if it's a little bit nonsense, we'll put it up for a second. But yeah, guys, so if you like late night sports talk, we do the Denver Broncos, but we also cover everyone, guys. We'll cover whatever sports team, whatever's going on. LeBron just left the Lakers. There's all kinds of stuff going on, guys. So we cover everything. The World Cup's going on. That's awesome. That's why I'm going to go see a soccer game, because I'm just really got this itch to go see some soccer after all this World Cup stuff going on. But yeah, thank you guys for popping in. If you are watching, I understand if you are watching on the shorts, on the vertical, stream like that. Sometimes it just brings you on here when you're swiping. And, if you want to, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. We're at 102. So we would love to try to, build that thing up, because we're trying to normalize late night sports talk. It starts with the Denver Broncos, but in general, if we're doing it, maybe someone else will start their own late night show, and then, we can normalize it all around. That's what we want to do, guys. But yeah, thank you for joining me, guys. Thank you for joining Still Up Sports. Thank you for hanging out with us. We got some fun topics about Broncos trades that are coming up. And then some other things, with our next 24-hour stream, that's going to be in 3 weeks. That next 24-hour stream, guys, I'm going to definitely be swinging for the moon on some of these guests. So there's a few guests I'm really going to swing for the moon. I'm going to double check, because I'm going to start. I have this StreamYard thing set up where it's a reusable studio now. So it should be easier for these guys to actually pop in and just, send one link, and then it's just the same link. So that way they can just show up whenever they want. But we're going to do another 24-hour stream at one point. But I'm going to really swing for the moon for some of these guests. And I may change the days. Instead of both of those first two 24-hour shows were on Saturday into Sunday. We may go Sunday into Monday. with the hopes that the Monday part would allow us to snag some bigger names, guys, because I want to snag some bigger names, snag some real like in-depth people, not just in like Broncos media, but like in sports and stuff. So I'm going to really swing for the moon, send a lot of DMs and stuff like that, and see and send some posts on Twitter, tag some people, stuff like that. See if I can get someone to bite on this, guys, so we can get a good interview from someone. We're trying to normalize late night sports talk. I'm a Broncos fan, but you don't have to be, guys. If you got like an NFL team that's on your mind, let me know about your favorite NFL team. I'll answer that question too, because we got some Q&A at the end as well. So feel free to pop by. Feel free to say what you want, guys. We've had some people watching in on YouTube and on X, so I do appreciate you guys. The show, we're going to probably go for about 2 hours. So we're creeping on like 15 minutes into the show. It's not ending anytime soon. We're going to go for about 2 hours, and we'll go from there. In the future, these shows will normally, hopefully, be 3 to 4 hours. I'm a very new creator to this stuff, so sometimes learning how to create stuff, like I'm going to spend the weekend trying to learn how to make some thumbnails so I can get past this, because if you pay attention to my stream or my streams, a lot of the thumbnails are all just the same image or a different image. So I need to actually learn how to make some good thumbnails. And this is a good weekend for me to get some practice, because it's going to be a lot of like just maintenance work on like the channel, on like some of the social platforms, learning how to clip these stuff from these 24-hour streams. There's some good stuff to clip in both of those. So we're going to clip those and post those. So we're going to spend this weekend kind of resetting and getting a bunch of stuff dealt with over here, as well as we got our new little area over here where we're going to start filming some shorts. So we got us an area behind the studio. It's pretty neat. So we're going to film some shorts right there. It's pretty cool. But yeah, guys, if you're new here, if you're popping by, I would love to just tell you guys to just, like, comment, and subscribe. It all goes a long way. YouTube loves, so if you like drop a like, if you subscribe, it goes a long way with YouTube. YouTube is very picky, and the algorithm is just chaotic sometimes. And the only way to sometimes ride the wave of the algorithm is liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps get the word out. It really, gets us the extra views, the extra bit of attention that we need as a small content creator, as a small channel with not much options, for us to handle or to do. So yeah, and then we have our poll coming up today, guys. I'm gonna post the poll so you guys can answer the poll. So the poll is out now. We're gonna move this up. Yeah, no, it's in a good spot. I think that's in a good spot. We'll leave it right there. If you see the poll, let me know what you guys are thinking on this. This is gonna be our poll and our subject for this show. Who is more likely to get traded from the Denver Broncos? Is it Marvin Mims? Is it Riley Moss? Is it Ben Powers? Is it other? If it's other, let me know in the comments. There's some reasons, and we're going to address all these reasons between all three of those guys. There's great talking points for all of them, as well as we got one other topic that we're going to get into, and that's going to be paying Jaquan McMillan. So just alone, because you see me talking about paying J-Mac, maybe that shows a little bit how I feel on the Riley Moss type situation. But those are the three guys I think that maybe are most possible to be traded. In my opinion, maybe Ben the less. The least amount, but it's still possible. He is in a contract year, but and whoever trades for him would probably be expected to, re-sign him, or give him an extension. Unless, they have a freak injury and they just need to bring someone in, and maybe it's a contending team and you don't want to mess up that O-line and you just want to bring in a top-level guard. So that's something that may happen, guys. But yeah, so go like, comment, subscribe. All that helps, guys. As is, like I said, we're at 102. We're trying to work our way up there. So go ahead and subscribe if you'd like. It's not easy for small creators out there, but we're getting a lot better out there in terms of putting our name out there, and we're getting a lot better at like figuring out how to do this producing and all that. And then we're writing scripts, and then we're learning to talk on camera. So it's all been a fun process, guys. But if you see this, poll right now, I would love for your opinion on this poll. Let me see. I don't know if you can actually click the poll. I don't know if that's how it works. It's not popping up on YouTube in the poll, in the chat. So I'm not sure how that works. See, that's the thing, guys. See, I'm still pretty new with this, but we'll pull that thing back out, at least for now. We'll hide it. But I thought it would pop up on YouTube, but it did not pop up. So I thought you'd be able to click it or interact with it in the comments on the stream, but that's not how it worked. All right, guys. Let me see. Let me click that one more time. Okay. No, so I don't know how to make it like that interactive where you click it. I don't know if that's like something I have to do just on YouTube. Maybe that's something I have to do just on YouTube and put it in the stream. That's my guess. I mean, that's all I would assume. But yeah, well, that's more of the whole, we got to figure this stuff out and get more practice, guys. All right. And yeah, just so you know, we had some awesome guests on that last 24-hour stream. And on our next 24-hour stream, guys, we're going to have some awesome guests too. I'm going to make sure we can get some good ones. I'm going to swing for the fences and see if we can snag one or two good people. I know it's the off season, so a lot of these people are on vacations, but I think we can snag some good people popping in on some of these interviews, guys. It would excite me if we could. All right, guys. So we're going to get into our trade discussion soon, but I think maybe we should just get into J-Mac. I think J-Mac would be great. Jaquan McMillan, he was a UDFA. He did not play other than like one game, I think, in his first year. He has had a huge amount of growth since then. And so while we discuss J-Mac, and I'm going to type it up and put it up in the subject right now, but it's going to say pay J-Mac. We're going to put that as our banner. And it's going to say pay J-Mac because I'm going to explain why. And it just makes sense to me. All right, here you go, guys. New banner. Pay J-Mac. I don't know how you feel about Jaquan McMillan, but everyone who has watched J-Mac play the last few years, Reed Timmer. Okay. Anyone who has asked about or knows about J-Mac the last few years, they know about the kind of growth he has had. He had a bad first year, but he only played one game. And this was a UDFA, guys. But J-Mac has really grown in that time. He's a huge tackler. Guy does not miss when it comes to making tackles. The guy has like over 7 sacks or something like that in his time, with the Broncos, and he's a corner. The man has like over like, I think it was like 7 or something like interceptions, but it's like 5 interceptions and 5 forced fumbles in like 3 years. That's a good stat right there. In my opinion, I think he's more impactful than Moss. So not to get too deep into that trade, discussion, because I have Moss listed as a trade candidate. This just shows you where I stand on J-Mac, guys. I'm riding or dying with re-signing J-Mac and giving him this deal. He's the best slot corner in the NFL. And, he plays like a hard-hitting safety that is a lockdown slot corner, because his stats are crazy with the fumbles and the sacks and the interceptions. For a corner to be, that impactful, 7 sacks in his time, that's crazy. With the Broncos. And this was, again, another UDFA. You got to love the UDFAs. Broncos fans love UDFAs. The Broncos love UDFAs. They love to bring them in, and it's almost always one of them makes the roster every year. At least like the last 20 plus years, I believe that's how it's gone. There's almost always a UDFA making this team. So that's pretty cool, guys. And I really think that Moss is not as impactful as J-Mac. J-Mac makes the impact off the edge. He makes the impact with the sacks, with the forced fumbles, with the interceptions. Again, he is sticky and he's a great, slot. Maybe every once in a while he has one game where he gets burned, but that's like even with Pat. Every once in a while, once in a blue moon, Pat has that one game. So I think that with J-Mac, it just makes sense. I would pay him easily. I think that he is your best slot corner on the team. He's the best slot corner in the division and in the conference, probably in the league. So I just think, why would you want to get weak in that position? I know there's a lot of talk about Barron, and Barron plays into both discussions because with the Moss situation, if you're moving on from Moss, then that means that obviously Barron's took a step up, and that's kind of what I'm going to be leaning into. I think Barron can take a step up, and I think he's been in a great room to develop. He's been in Vance's defense for a year now. I think he's in a great position to take a jump, and I really trust that being in that kind of room with the kind of talent he is, he's going to take that step, guys. And Moss, and between Moss and J-Mac, I really don't think you can pay both. Some people want you to pay both. You ain't paying both. I just really think that J-Mac's more impactful and makes more of an impact on the game than Moss. It's nothing about Moss's, his PI penalties. It's nothing about that. It's nothing about any of that, even though some would probably make it about that. I don't think that's the case. I think that it's all about J-Mac being what he is. So this whole situation, I'd rather just pay J-Mac and then try to get what value you can get with Riley. And we'll get into Riley and all that. And we'll get into discussion on what I think his value is and all that, guys. But I truly think that J-Mac is, the move. Pay J-Mac. I'm going to always say pay J-Mac. If J-Mac gets a deal, I'm going to air horn for like days. I'm going to do that for days if we re-sign J-Mac and give him a good deal, because I'd love to keep him and Pat together. I want to do. I know you got some people talk about re-signing Brandon Jones. I mean, there's not that much in that safety room, so I wouldn't be surprised if you wanted to do that. But I don't know if that's the move either. I think just re-sign J-Mac and then play the whole Riley and Brandon Jones thing out. Just play that out. Because I think Barron can replace Riley. I do think Barron can replace Riley, and it's just a safety position. You get some depth issues or some worries about starting depth. You got some great potential in that safety room, but you just worry about high level quality starting depth, veteran starting depth. And you worry about that. You got some great potential with guys like Devon Key and stuff like that. But safety will be fun to discuss at one point again. But with paying J-Mac, guys, it's just the smart move. You get to take care of probably one of the best talents this game has seen at slot. A lot of people like to throw out that Chris Harris comp. I mean, he's very impactful, just like Chris. We haven't seen a slot corner be that kind of impactful since Chris either. So. I like that comp, guys. I like that Chris Harris comp at this point because he's been doing it for a few years now. If he could do it for another few years, next thing you know, we're talking about a guy because Chris Harris, he's definitely a Ring of Famer. But if we were to re-sign J-Mac and he were to play like this for another 3-4 years, that would be amazing. Then maybe we're talking about another Ring of Famer just like Chris. But I do think that I just can't say it enough. Pay Jaquan McMillan. Pay him. It's just worth it. Get it done. Pay him before the season. Pay him during the season. Just pay him before the season ends. Don't let him hit free agency. The man's a talent. I don't want to see him gone. I want to see him get the proper deal he deserves and get the money he deserves. And I think that it would send a good signal to the locker room that, hey, we're taking care of a guy that helped us win that Bills game. Helped us win some big games, has had some big breakout moments for us. That's what I think that sends you guys. So I'm all on paying Jaquan McMillan. That's just something I can't help myself with, guys. All right, we're going to step aside, guys, and we're going to talk about our friends, Goonsville. At Goonsville, guys, right here, you see it. I'm going to pull it up even bigger. Boom. All right, you see it right here. You see me repping the Greek Goonsville right here, guys. You see it right there. I'm repping the Greek Goonsville right here. Denver Greek Festival just happened. Las Vegas Greek Festival coming up soon. Petros, Goonsville, amazing Greek man, representing his culture. We're just fully supportive of everything that he does, and he has been nothing but supportive of what we do here at Still Up. So we got nothing but love for Goonsville, because you never know who's repping Goonsville. Again, like I said, it could be, basketball players. Look at that Perseverance line. I love the Perseverance line. I know Petros is pretty proud of it. I love it. Goons always persevere, guys. But yeah, so you can find basketball players, football players. You can find some motocross athletes. You can find some combat sport athletes. You can find podcasters like me, repping Goonsville, guys. So go check out Goonsville. Petros has let me take this banner down, because behind this banner is he has a 10% link, guys, right there. Oh, no, I'm blocking it. Hold on. There we go. All right. So right here, guys, you can see the 10% link right there. It's down here. So go get yourself that 10% and go get yourself some Goonsville, guys. If you're a CU Buffs fan, if you're a Broncos fan, if you're a Golden Knights fan, if you're a Raiders fan, there's even a color wave on there that you can probably use. But look at this color. Look at these color waves. I just got this hat. It's coming in the mail. I ordered that hat. I also ordered this shirt right here, guys. So I'm waiting for it. I got it in XL, so I'm waiting for it to show up. Gonna open that on air, maybe either on air, or I'll do a separate opening video just to do that, because I'm excited for my Goonsville, guys. I love it. And all this stuff's fully embroidered, guys, fully stitched, embroidered, great stitching, great looking stuff on here, man. There's some stuff on here, guys, that is super cool. So many colors. Again, there's that Mile High hoodie, that Mile High orange and navy. Love it. I have this hoodie, guys. When I got that hoodie, at first I paid $70 for it, and now it's $60, and that's not counting your 10% off, which will probably cover your taxes, or part of the taxes, I'd assume. So go check out Goonsville, because Goonsville rocks with us on every podcast. We're always wearing Goonsville, we're always repping it. But Goonsville is, family. We love Goonsville. We got nothing but love for Goonsville. Go support Goonsville, guys. If you want to look cool, feel clean, support other people, Goons got goons. We always support other people. Broncos media has been nothing but kind and supportive of what we do here at Still Up. And, that's all about, supporting each other. And, most Broncos media are goons. They don't even know it, though, because of how supportive they are. And that's what being a goon is, supporting others in their craft. And, we got love for Goonsville. We got Goonsville. I've always said it, guys. They're the only ones that get forever free ads, because, seeing how, Petros and Goonsville operates, that's what inspires me every day to keep driving and, showing that same passion and energy. So, and we will try to get Petros back on too, guys. But, Petros is, you'll see him right here. Let me pull him up right here. But yeah, right here, man. Petros right here, man. He's an amazing goon, amazing guy. He works his butt off. He started this brand a few years ago, and he's just killing it with all he's doing, guys. So it would really mean a lot to me if you guys were to go support him. Maybe tell him that I sent you, but just support him, because I get nothing out of this, guys. I just want him to get some love from seeing what we can do, send some love his way. So if you want to go check out Goonsville, again, they got some pretty good stuff on there, some pretty affordable stuff. If you're a Golden Knights fan, you're a CU Buffs fan, go get this $25 hat, with the 10% off. These are some good hats. All these are embroidered, guys. $20, same mesh beanies. The double mesh beanies, those are great, because the two mesh, those are great, guys. I have one right here with me, but those are great if you're going to go skiing or if you're somewhere cold. So go check out Goonsville. Nothing but love from us at Still Up. And yeah, guys, we're all about supporting each other. So Goonsville's always been rocking with us, and they're going to keep rocking with us every day. But yeah, go check out some Goonsville. Go buy something, get that 10%, and tell them Cody sent you. All right, guys. Here we are. Bam. All right. So, guys, we do have another topic. We're going to get into that just in a second. But I will also like to ask of you guys, come check us out on our social media platforms. If you're new here, if you haven't been here before, go check us out. We're at 102 on YouTube, and we're also on X. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. So we're on all those, guys. Go check us out on all of those. We're going to be streaming on TikTok as well soon. So, it's good to, know that we got all these platforms, guys. Any bit of help supports. I mean, any bit of support really helps, guys. We're just trying to grow. I appreciate you guys. We just went up one. That's all because of you guys. I'm just trying to normalize late night sports talk. Just because I'm a Broncos fan does not mean I will not discuss whatever sports are on your mind. We'd like to talk about sports talk, and air horn for that subscriber. So, much love to you. Thank you for popping in. Again, my name's Cody Chapa. This is Still Up Sports. We talk Denver Broncos, but we also talk sports in general. We're going to be covering International Fight Week in the UFC. We've been reacting to some of these World Cup games at times whenever people bring them up. We make sure to check it out. I'm going to a soccer game this weekend, soccer match this week, just because all this World Cup's got me excited. So I really want to go watch some football, some real football, and go have some fun. Thank you guys for popping in. If you got any comments, drop them in. If you got any questions, drop them in. Like, comments, share, all that stuff helps, guys. But yeah, if you got anything, let me know. Drop it in the live chat. In the live stream, let me react to it. Let me answer. I got you guys. If you got any sports questions, whatever it is, I got you. We just talked about Jaquan McMillan, the Broncos star slot corner, guys, who I think is just definitely deserving of getting paid. Yeah, I think he's definitely deserving of getting paid. I think that I would love if Jaquan could just get that deal and be a Bronco for the next 3-4 years of his career, and we could see what kind of what he can show us in those next few years, because there's a chance that he can really help us and be that reliable slot corner for years to come, just like how Chris was. I think that I trust Barron to make that step up. So if the move was to move off of Riley Moss, I totally understand it. Totally makes sense to me. And I love Riley Moss. I have a lot of respect for him. We'll get into Riley Moss. We're going to get into Riley Moss, Marvin Mims, and Ben Powers, guys. So in the comments, if you're watching, if you're a fan of another team, which one of these Denver Broncos would you trade for? Do you need a receiver? A short, fast, speedy receiver who can take the top off, who's also an all-pro returner like Marvin Mims, could probably be wide receiver 2 on a lot of teams, guys. Do you want a Marvin Mims? Do you want who may be, if your team, let's say you have an injury and you have a starting guard go down, guys, do you want a Ben Powers? He's a high-level guard coming off of an injury. It was a bicep injury, I believe. But, you have a high-level guard in Ben Powers who you would have to pay, after the fact. But if you're a championship team, maybe you don't even worry about that till the offseason comes. You just try to fill a void. Or either you already have a hole, or you don't feel comfortable where you're at, with the left guard spot, or you just don't, or you have an injury at your left guard spot, guys. So, yeah, thank you again, guys, whoever you were, 103. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. We're just a small little content creator trying to do our best and grow late night sports talk. Yeah, guys. So if you're joining me right now, it is 2:46 a.m. Mountain Time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being still up. Being at Still Up, it means a lot to me, just to have the support, being a creator that wants to normalize something that isn't necessarily a normal thing. It's it means that for it to be normal, someone has to do it and be the one to do it. And that's why we're going to do it. We're going to be the one to fill the gap between the local radio in Denver and also fill the gap between content creators and TV and streamers and stuff who are up during the day, but who are not up at these times, you know? And I think this may during the season benefit us because there's some people who are in this industry who are really close and tapped in, who happen to be have to be up at these times just because they have to travel. So I think there's a chance these hours, these late night hours, these early morning hours that we are streaming right now, guys. I think this is a great time for us to help fill the void, and I think it's a great time for us to eventually snag some even bigger fishes when it comes to this stuff. I've put out the feelers. I'm trying to snag our first like NFL player or vet, or retired player to hop in or at least quote them. Some of these people, I'll take a quote. I'll take a phone call that is not recorded, and I could just ask you a few questions. I would do that, and I'd write the questions and the answers down. I'll do all this by paper if I need to. I'm just trying to get some kind of big, break with one of these, a big interview, a big kind of like a reporter. I've had some great guests on and fellow Bronco creators, who are my peers. They're awesome and I love them. But I think they could all relate how big it is when you get your first former Bronco on, or you get your first former retired Bronco on, or your first like huge like a mainstream, media person, who's like legitimate, like credentialed in the building. So we're going to try to eventually get a big fish in one of these people in on these streams, because I think that would make these streams really fun, especially these 24-hour streams that we like to do, guys. If you don't know, we've already done 2. And the first one was tough. Second one was actually pretty easy. All the stuff takes preparing, eating, hydrating, extra rest. Like you want to get a good night's sleep in, and then also snag a nap before you go live. That's what I'm learning. Hold on, guys. All right, I'm back. So, thank you guys for popping in again. I can't wait to see when Mike makes or when these graphics come out on the channel growth, because I want to see what our growth has been in that time from that perspective. Because while we're only at 103, guys, next thing you know, we're going to be at 500. And in these next few weeks, I'll try to put the money aside if we can to go hit the zip line downtown to celebrate 103. Or we'll find a unique way to celebrate hitting 103 on YouTube. But whenever we hit 500, we're going skydiving. I already got a bookmarked. Whenever we hit 500, it's skydiving. And there's plenty of places here in Vegas to do that. But it's our goal. We're going to go skydiving, guys. It'll be fun, and that'll be a great way to celebrate 500. So, yeah, guys, I'm incredibly grateful for all the support. Eventually, I would love to have some real sponsors. Again, Goonsville gets free ads. I would love these shows to go for 4 hours a night, from what would be 1:30 a.m. to 2, 3, 4, almost 5 in the morning. I would love to go 4 hours a night, with like about 2.5 of that being actual. And this is how they would pan out. 2.5 hours, that actually being late night discussion, me sitting here or me running over actual topics and talking about it. And then the other hour and a half, 2 hours of it would be me airing interviews or me having a guest on, or me, one like ad breaks, of course, too. Goonsville gets free ads, but eventually we would love to have 2, 3, 4 ads per show. And eventually we want to have more. We want to do more ads. Goonsville gets free ads because they're family, and they're amazing. And but because of that, guys, it's just great practice for me. I can practice doing ad reads, and by doing that, it helps. I want to get another. I want to have some sponsors, like an actual sponsor that can maybe contribute to the channel, while also maybe having like some kind of codes or promo codes or whatever. I want to have an actual like sponsor. Goonsville rides with us forever. we have a space in the studio for Goonsville guys. You see the Goonsville everywhere. Goonsville is everywhere in this room, and it's going to stay that way. It's even on the fridge. It's even on the fridge and some of these stickers. But yeah, guys, we got the cat. He's going crazy. Let me let him out. All right, guys, we had to free the cat. The cat is very demanding. He likes to go out. He doesn't want to sit here. He says the off season's the off season for a reason. So he does not want to lock in on any of these Broncos topics. He does not want to lock in on talking about J-Mac and why he should get paid. He does not want to lock in on celebrating 100 subs from our 24-hour stream, let alone the fact that we just hit 103 in this stream. We just went up from 102 to 103 in this stream. So, I guess the cat does not want to hang out, but maybe in the future, one of these other cats might pop up. We got him or his sister. That's what this tree's here for. Until we get a couch for the studio, and that'll change the views completely for the studio, guys. But until we get a couch for the studio, it's going to be just me sitting with a cat tree or me with another chair right here. But we're going to get a couch hopefully at one point, so that way we can have guests in here, sitting in here with us, that we can interview guests while also just doing stuff here. So it'll be pretty fun, guys. All right. Sorry about that. All right. But yeah, guys, so one last time, we're going to get into these these trade discussions. But I just want to say, like, comment, subscribe, guys. Here we are. 103 subs. Let's try to go up a little more. That'd be awesome, right? Just keep normalizing late night sports talk. You're a Denver Broncos fan, you're an NFL fan, if you're a combat sports fan and love UFC, BKFC, boxing, jiu-jitsu, if you love, most sports, I'll cover them, guys. I'm a Broncos channel, but I'll cover most sports. All right, guys. But yeah, so we got another topic coming up. Let me type out this banner. We're going to spend like 8-10 more minutes on J-Mac while I type out this banner as well. And then we're going to jump into Riley Moss. And then we have Q&A at the end of the show. So if you have some questions, Broncos questions, drop them in the chat. If it's about a certain player, Broncos player, whatever you think, let me know what you think's going on. Doesn't matter what's going on, let me know. All right, let's get this banner going. All right, guys. So here we go. We got this J-Mac discussion going for another 10 minutes, and I can make it go for 10 minutes. If so, just watch. Well, one more thing, guys, I would like to say about this cornerback room and why there's an X factor in this cornerback room. And a lot of guys have been forgetting about him or have been just recently remembering about him. But anyone who has remembered this last season or so, we remember seeing, Cad out there, KAD, Chris Abrams, Drain, sticky, man, sticky corner. I think he's like 5'11". I have to double check his size. I think he's not that bad with size. While a lot of people are talking about Riley as a possible trade candidate, that's possible too. That some team may be interested in Chris Abrams Drain and want to trade for Chris Abrams Drain, because this Broncos cornerback room is deep. You got Pat Surtain, you got Riley Moss, you got J-Mac, you got Chris Abrams Drain, you got Jahdae Barron. I think that this is why another reason why I think and we'll get into Moss and this will come back up, but I think that when you have guys like Chris Abrams Drain on there, and Barron, It leaves a guy like that. You want to pay the best of the best at that position, which would be J-Mac in his position. You pay him. So then you have out of your three, 1, 2, 3 corners, you have 2 of the best in the league, and that would be J-Mac and Pat. Besides, I think between Barron and Chris Abrams-Drain, and then whoever else you may bring in at one point, that's enough to definitely fill that Riley Moss role. No matter what, I think just either way, Barron or Chris Abrams-Drain can take that role. I just like the idea that if you made the move off of Moss, that you can just send out Barron, and if Barron starts to play bad, you can send out Chris Abrams-Drain, and you can expect him to play at the high level that he was. It'd be a matter of can he play and can he keep it up long term. But that'd be the same thing with Barron, because Barron hasn't gotten the full-time, long-term reps at outside corner either. But in my opinion, the best thing to do, no matter what, with that cornerback room is not to touch it until next year. Well, I wouldn't necessarily trade of all those 3 guys we have talked about, and we're going to jump into. I'm still talking J-Mac, but of those 3 guys we talked to, I think that Powers and Moss, while they have possibility and value to trade and stuff, I think that you don't touch either of those 2. I think that most likely is Marvin Mims. I think, and I'll get into that. But when it comes to this cornerback room, I think that J-Mac is worth extending because you have, that extra insurance on the outside. So I think you're not going to see much drop in that cornerback room. I think you're just going to see a cornerback room that keeps getting better and better and can keep developing. I just love the idea of, you either, because it's not a matter of if you trade Moss. Even if you don't trade Moss, it's going to be a matter of if you can re-sign him. And I don't think he's getting re-signed. I'd rather make sure the re-signing money for that cornerback room goes straight into J-Mac. But because of that, guys, you got some great corners in that room. There's nothing to worry about. I don't think that anyone on that O-line or that that cornerback room gets traded during the season. I think that it'll be a discussion, but I don't think any of them do. But because I think that no matter what, if anything, if you're going to see anything with that cornerback room get done during the season, I think it's going to be a healthy mix of, with that cornerback room. I think you can just expect Riley Moss to still be there for the season. Chris Abrams-Drain as your relief corner. You're going to have Barron, getting some reps too. I love to see Barron getting some reps against tight ends. That's just me. If you start to worry about those inside linebackers, maybe you do that. But again, I think Justin Strnad takes a step up too. Yeah, guys, if you're joining me right now, it is the 3 o'clock hour, 3 a.m. hour Mountain Time. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening after the fact. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. All that really, really helps, guys. All that really helps. It tells YouTube to pay attention. So, again, here we are, 103. So sick. So grateful for you guys. Yeah, guys. So we're going to be, normally we do these shows Mondays, Wednesdays, Friday. But during the off season, all this stuff is subject to change. So don't hold your breath on anything on the off season until we're back from at least at training camp. Once training camp begins, we're in our regular season schedule. But with the off season, that's why we're going to a soccer game just so we can pass time because it's a sports channel, but we cover whatever, guys. But if you are watching, we're at 103. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Again, we're on other platforms too. So if you're listening or watching on X, we're on X. Go check us out. We're live on X or Twitter, however you prefer. We're live on that right now. Go check us out on YouTube. We're going to be live on TikTok for our next stream, hopefully. And then we got Instagram. Instagram is going to be where we do some personal streams, guys. More just us. And then, of course, I showed you the Goonsville. So go check out the Goonsville. But yeah, guys, I see that we got some people in here. I could see some people. If you got sports questions, guys, drop your questions in the comments in the chat. drop your questions in. I want to know what you guys have on your mind. Let's talk Broncos. Let's talk NFL. Whatever's on your mind, let me know. But yeah, definitely comment, like, subscribe. All that helps, guys. Really means a lot. All right. So we're going to ease our way into this next discussion. And we'll ease our way into it with talking about J-Mac and find a nice little transition in there. But with J-Mac, guys, I did say, and that leaves our first one of these trade candidates, one of those first trade candidates up here. And he's first on my list to talk about too. But what happens, I guarantee, if you see a Jaquan McMillan extension, you're going to see a Riley Moss departure no matter what, because he is not getting an extension. Whoever gets that extension first probably means the other guy's gone, just because of how the money's going to be available. And because you got a guy like Barron and Chris Abrams-Strain there, you got other guys that can get reps. So this is why, again, we're making this shift into it, and we're beginning it right now. We're jumping in the who is trade candidates. So if you are watching after the fact, one, I want you to comment and like, but I want you to tell me how you feel about re-signing J-Mac. That's something I want to know about. And then, now, who is most likely to get traded? Moss, Powers, Mims, or someone else? We're going to get into, because I chose those three, we're going to get into my reasonings behind them. Maybe we'll talk value, and we'll see what we think with value we can get from both of them, because there's some great value with both for sure. With all of them, there's some value. I'm sure you can get some good picks for some of these guys. I'll tell you who I think is most likely, who is least likely, all that stuff. But yeah, I'm grateful that we had one other person pop in and subscribe during the stream. Now we're at 103, and that's awesome, because now we're just chasing 500 slowly, guys. 500's our next big milestone. We'll celebrate each 100, but the big milestone is 500, guys. 500 would be great to hit before the season or during the season. And that's why we're going to hit these 24-hour streams again. Not this week or next week, but after that, that's still like 2 or 3 weeks before training camp. We're going to really hit these. I think it's 2. I think we'll have at least another 2 24-hour streams. It's in the off season, honestly. I can do a 24-hour stream each weekend if you really want. So during the off season, I can do 24-hour streams any way we want. So we'll do more 24-hour streams no matter what. It's just we're taking a little break this weekend. Go enjoy the 4th of July. Go watch some awesome soccer. Enjoy some great food. I've already looked at the food that's going to be available for the Lights game. And if you guys are available, if you are in Vegas this 4th of July and you don't have anything going on, I will be at the Las Vegas Lights game. Let me show you if I can show you. It's not actually up here, but let me see. Let's see. Nope, I did not post it. It would be in my thing, but I don't want to play like any music that might pop up in these shorts. But no, guys, so if you know about the Las Vegas Lights, that's the soccer team here in Vegas. And I will be directly going to a Lights game just so I can check out the food, check out the atmosphere, enjoy my first pro soccer game. That's going to be fun. As well as, guys, we're going to stay for some fireworks. We're going to make some content out of that. It's going to be fun. We're going to try food. I love, there's a creator on Instagram. Her name's Val. She's a Stadium Food Girl. She reviews stadium food. And I absolutely love her food reviews. It makes me hungry every time I watch. But I'm excited because I'm going to try some of the different foods at the game. I'm excited. Really get out and have a little bit of fun. Try some new stuff. It's going to be fun, guys. I'm excited. So my bad. As we get into this discussion, guys, let me know who you think the Denver Broncos is most likely to trade. J-Mac. I think he's getting the extension. So because of that, I have Riley Moss here as my only defensive player on my trading block right now. And that's just because of the fact that, one, I think, there's a discussion if maybe we are undervaluing Moss. There is a discussion there. And I do got nothing but respect for Moss. All my Moss takes are not PI related. I'm not even getting into the PIs with Moss. When I get into these discussions talking about, Moss, I'm not talking about that. I think he's a cornerback one on other teams. You want him to be your cornerback too, but I think no matter what, I think he's cornerback one on a lot of other teams. I think he's that talented. He's a great outside boundary corner, and I think you could get great value if you were to trade Riley Moss. Out of these three, I have him as the second most likely to get traded behind Mims. I have him listed as Mims is most likely, Moss is possible, and then I have Powers as unlikely, but possible to unlikely. And that's just because I'll get into each reason for one of these guys. But with Riley Moss, I'll talk about the devil's advocate first. There is a chance we're undervaluing or underutilizing or under appreciating Moss. And that's just because, he has had to play outside of Pat Surtain, which is going to get you targets. And then, there's the whole white DB thing, that's playing against you. But I understand, how some of these extra targets are coming his way. Some of those PIs were not him. They were bad PIs. And again, my take is not based off of PIs. And I still don't think, and if I had it my way, you don't touch these rooms. I love the depth of all these rooms. But if I had it my way, you don't touch the cornerback room till after the offseason, and you either let him walk or you extend him. I just think that if you have the extension money, it's going to J-Mac. That's just my opinion. You're allowed to have a different opinion, and if you do, I would love to hear it in the comments in the chat afterward, because I read every comments, every post. If you comment, I will read it, and I'll go back and I'll respond, and I will even like it, and I'll heart it, so you'll get a response back, guys. But I do think that maybe we're undervaluing Moss. Maybe we're not appreciating him because he some of the the touchdowns or some of the passes he gives up. Like I've seen there was a touchdown or two, or there was like a third or a first down that he gave up, and some of these balls were just in perfect placement, which just shows to beat Riley Moss, you have to be perfect. And he has some great stats backing him, minus some of the bad PIs. And some of those PIs were on him, but not all of them. So I think that, to give him, crap for it, it's not deserving. So maybe there is a chance we're undervaluing Moss. Maybe let me know. Maybe let me know if you think I'm undervaluing Moss, guys. I don't think I am. I think that I'm valuing him just right. I think that if you were to trade for him, if you were to trade him, I'm not saying go after a player. I don't have a player in mind. I know I saw David Talks Broncos, and I liked his little Sam Laporta player for player trade. I liked it. I don't know if it's realistic, but I understand it's the offseason, and we got to talk about this stuff. And if there were to be a player for player trade, that's the best one that makes the most sense, is because of everyone knows that the Lions, they're looking for a new corner. Terrion Arnold being represented by the same lawyer that Jonathan Cooper is being represented. He just got cut by the Lions, which amazes me why Jonathan Cooper hasn't been cut yet. But we'll see how the Cooper thing develops, guys. I don't like talking about that stuff. That stuff makes me feel yucky and icky. But yeah, guys. So I think that there's a lot of positive with Moss. He's a great player, and I got nothing but respect and love for him. If I have it my way, we don't trade him. We just wait till the offseason, and if we've already paid Jaquan, or if we're going to pay Jaquan, then we just let Moss walk. That's as simple as it is for me. But if you think that you would like to trade Moss, maybe you can. I think you can get a third or a fourth for him. I think it's possible to get a third or a fourth for what you got in Riley Moss. Besides that, guys, now we're going to get into some of the things that I think work against him. And I think, it's Barron and Chris Abrams drain that works against Riley Moss because he has some solid depth. Barron, again, something we don't know what we've seen. I saw him make a great interception against the Cowboys and, covering a tight end. And then in a Chiefs game, I watched Barron make what would have been a pick six, and it was called back. And that was covering Kelsey. So I think that Barron can be your tight end killer. Use him like the star that he was at Dallas, and they used him as the star position, and he played all over. I just use him as a defensive matchup piece, either at corner or safety, or I use him as an extra linebacker on dime or however you want, or nickel. I don't care. Just get him out on the field no matter what, because at times he is one of the best DBs out there that you still have, and you just haven't gotten to see it because of how deep you are. But this could be the year that you really get to see some of that. But I think that because he has, Barron and, Chris Abrams drain sitting behind him, Riley Moss has some pressure. They're sitting on him. They're going to really push him. And again, what I was saying with Chris Abrams drain, super sticky, super talented. A lot of people love Chris Abrams drain, and some people think that he could be a trade candidate. And if you think he is, put him in your other box, or let me know in the comments if you think he's more likely than Riley to get traded. I don't think either are getting traded. I think that Riley actually plays out the whole year with the team still, and then I think he gets the ability to just go walk in because they're not going to re-sign him. I think that's what will happen. But what do you think Moss is worth? I think again a third or fourth. I think you can get a third or fourth with him. Maybe there's some talented player out there that maybe you can try to get in a package with him, or for a one-to-one, like how David was talking about with Sam Laporta. Maybe Riley Moss would be a great corner for a lot of other teams. A lot of teams would love to have him. And so, is he a cornerback one is another great discussion with Riley Moss, because you see some of his numbers and stuff. Some of it shows like he could produce like one. He's been targeted a lot, and in general, for the most part, it's not that bad. It's just you want to clean up those PIs, and some of those PIs again were a little, unfair. That's true, but you can't always just say the ref this, the ref that. So, guys, I really think that Riley Moss is the second most likely Bronco to get traded. We're going to jump into the first one in a second. Or no, we'll get into our least likely, next. That's for sure. All right, guys. So we're going to get into our let me know how you feel about Riley Moss. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know how you feel about Riley Moss. Because if you feel pretty good about him, maybe you want them to give him the extension. Let me know why you think Riley Moss deserves the extension. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve an extension. I just don't know if Denver's the team to give him the money and the deal he wants. So, yeah, we just talked Riley Moss, guys. But, yeah, you can see our static growth right now. We just went up one just in this stream. So that's awesome. Maybe it'd be cool if we can snag one more subscriber in this stream. So if you want to be subscriber 104, just go to YouTube, guys. We're on YouTube at Still Up Sports. Here you are. You can see we're at 103 right now. go check us out. We're at 103. We would love to get to 104, 105 this week. I got some cool stuff coming out. I got a new little area where I can start filming shorts. This channel is very small. So if you hop on now, you're going to get to watch the growth. And you don't have to be a Denver Broncos fan because I'll talk about your team. You ask me, I'll talk about them, and I'll be objective. Even if you want to ask me about the Raiders, the Chargers, the Chiefs, I did during our last stream, guys. We did a grading the AFC West, and I graded the Raiders an A+. So the Raiders got the best grade out of the division with off-season grade. The Broncos off-season grade was an A-. The Chargers, I gave them a B-, and then the Chiefs, I gave them a C- or a D+. I think the Chiefs did not do as much as I would have liked them to reload this season. They talk about not rebuild, but reload. I think they should have reloaded more for Mahomes. I wanted to see them build more around Pat, and I was not happy with that. No, as a sports fan, I'm not happy about that because then that means you're not getting, some of this explosiveness out of that Chiefs offense. I just think that they could have done more to really help them out. I don't think they did enough to help them out either. But yeah, guys, if you're watching on X, come subscribe on YouTube. We hit 103 on this stream. We're trying to maybe hit 104, 105. That'd be cool. Add another sub or two because we're constantly growing, guys. We're chasing a sub or two every once in a while. But yeah, check us out. We're on X. We're on Instagram. We're on, TikTok and obviously here on YouTube. So, and then again, we're at 103. So let's try to get ourselves up there. And one more sub this stream. We're only going for another half hour to an hour, but, go like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate it, guys. All right. So we just talked to Riley Moss. And I think Riley Moss, out of these three guys, between Ben Powers, Riley Moss, and Marvin Mims, I think Riley is second most likely to get traded. But I don't think he gets traded. Just like with this next guy, Ben Powers. Ben Powers, your starting left guard. Broncos formerly got him from the Ravens. I think that Ben Powers, while he is a possible trade candidate, I think it is very unlikely. And while there is things pushing against him, sorry guys, while there are some things going against him, there are some stuff that really favor him too. And I think one or two of the things that go against him also favor him, at least for this year. Whether you re-sign him is another thing. This isn't a are you re-signing Ben Powers discussion. This is a are you trading Ben Powers discussion. So if you say no and say why. I say no, and I think my reasons no outweigh the reasons why it could happen. But I think there's still one or two things that maybe make sense, with him maybe being pushed out. But I don't think that's the case. This is his final year on the deal. He is on his final year with this Broncos deal, which means if you want to bring him back, you're going to have to extend him. And there's so many guys that you're going to want to extend next year. I don't know if Ben Powers is coming back, and that's why you could see the replacements and the moves. You can see Palcho sitting behind him. You can see the Cage Casey draft pick, and you can see the preparation for the possible moving on of Ben Powers. But does that mean he's getting traded? No, I don't think so. I think you want to keep this offensive line together for another year and just let these guys like Casey, and I think Casey makes the team, by the way, guys. I really think that Casey has a chance to make this team. Besides that, I think that Palcho, I love Palcho. I know a lot of you guys love Palcho, and you would love to see him as the starting guard. It's not happening this year unless Ben goes down. If Ben goes down with another injury, then yes, Palcho's your starting guard. And that's why it helps to have a guy like Casey, even if you just throw him on the practice squad. Either way, I think, you have your future on Ben's heels.
But I don't think in any way does that justify trading him this year. I don't think the value is worth it. Maybe there is some value for like if if a competitor, if a championship team who is in the hunt loses like their starting guard, and maybe they are really serious about it, maybe you make the move off of Ben Powers. But I don't really believe it, guys. I think the Broncos are going to stick with Ben Powers. I think they're going to just roll with the punches. And if, in fact, Ben goes down, then you'll see some use of maybe these guys like Palcho and Cage Casey. But I think Ben Powers is your starting left guard, guys. There's nothing going to happen to change that, I think. But I think there's small opportunities and reasons to talk about him possibly getting traded or picked up. One of them, guys, was PJ Locke. He was like a cut because they wanted to save some money. They didn't want to pay him. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, but we still have Casey for the year. But I like to think about PJ Locke, and I like to think about that the fact that they just didn't want to pay him the money. They wanted him to they wanted to use that money elsewhere. And maybe these guys look really good in camp to where you move off of Ben Powers, but I would not want to do that. I just want to roll it back with the same group, and then if you need to, let these guys fill in. I don't want to go in to the year with Palcho or Casey as your starting left guard. And I'm happy and excited for Palcho. I think Palcho can be your starting left guard, especially after another year of being that rotational guard who fills in at multiple positions, or even at tackle, because he is a swing player. I wouldn't be surprised if Palcho gets those kind of reps, but I think that best case scenario, he can sit for another year before you have to move on from Ben Powers, and then maybe let him and Casey battle it out. You got a few other guys on that offensive line room, of course, but it is his final year. That's working against him, maybe, but and then he did have a torn bicep last year, so he did get hurt. So that's what I was saying is if Ben Powers stays healthy, maybe nothing happens. I don't think anything happens, but if he gets hurt, either way, that's when you see those young guys, Palcho or Casey, fill in, and I think that then no matter what, either way, he's not getting extension. I don't think Ben Powers is in the future after the year. I don't think he gets re-signed. I don't think they're going to give away that money just because, again, you're limited in so many other places that you have to spend money, guys. So I don't know if that's the move. But the value, what do you think? What do you think Ben Powers' value would be if you were to trade for him? Like a fourth or fifth round pick for him, maybe? That's what I would think of, guys. Let me know what you think. All right, guys. So we're going to jump on to our next topic. Well, not our next topic, but our next, player, which I had Riley Moss as second most likely to get traded, but I still didn't have it happening. I have Ben Powers as least most likely to get traded, but I still don't have it happening. There's one trade I have happening, and I hate it. I hate it so much, but I love this player, guys, and I hate that it's going to happen, but this player just got a new agent. This player, when Jalen Waddle was re-signed, when Jalen Waddle was signed and traded for, this player literally said on TV that he wasn't sure, or we'll see where he fits into this offense now. I think that, this player thinks that he may not have a space on this offense to be used or utilized. I think that he sees maybe not necessarily threatened by the trade of Jalen Waddle, but maybe it's he sees a lack of opportunities with a Jalen Waddle coming in for him, especially because he has to share the wide receiver room with guys like Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant. There's all these guys, Cortland Sutton, Jalen Waddle, there's all these other guys on this, team. that you don't know. But that guy I'm talking about is Marvin Mims, the Marvin Mims, everyone's favorite punt kick returner. Uh, Man, it seems like Sean Payton just doesn't know how to use him. And I hope that this Davis Webb, because I have it right here listed as something that might help Mims's case, is how will Davis Webb's offense help Mims? Will he get the ball or get used as much? Because I think that why I think Mims gets traded is a good discussion and a fair discussion. I think that if Mims, he just got this new agent, he just switched to a new agency. He talked about on live TV right after the Broncos traded for Jalen Waddle. Marvin Mims said, I don't know. He liked the trade, but at least he was coming off like he liked it. But he even said, he's like, we'll see where I fit in on this offense. He seemed a little unsure. And I would not be surprised if getting this new agent was signaling to the team, make sure you utilize me or I won't be happy. And if he is not getting the reps or receptions or the targets or if Marvin Mims is not getting used on offense the way he wants or expects to be used, let's say week 6, 5, 6, 7, I would not be surprised, guys, if you see Marvin Mims ask that new agent, tell the Broncos, I want out. I'm not being used. I could be used somewhere else. And maybe you can see the Broncos dangle Marvin Mims in front of someone. Marvin is young. He is easily number 2 wide receiver on other teams, let alone being an all-pro kick and punt returner, guys. I think with Marvin, you can get a 3rd-round pick easy. That's what I'm setting Marvin's value at, is a 3rd-round pick. Maybe a 4th if you have to do right by him to get him to some other team to give him a chance to succeed. As long as you keep him out of the division and out of the conference, you send him to the NFC. Maybe the Eagles need him. Maybe there's some other teams. Maybe the Commanders. Maybe the Lions. There's some teams out there in the NFC that would make great sense for Marvin Mims. If you don't want him sticking around and being a headache for you in the playoffs here in the AFC. I think Marvin Mims is the most possible chance of being traded because of the fact that with this new agent, if he is not being used on offense the way he wants, he's going to ask for that trade. He's going to ask for it, guys. And I don't know if at one point he says he's going to hold out or whatever, but I think Marvin is a guy that wants to get paid, but he also wants to be used on offense more. He wants more reps on offense, more targets. And that's why I have it right here. Will Davis Webb's offense help Marvin? Hopefully it does. Because if it doesn't, I have Marvin asking for a trade a few weeks in and putting that new agent to the test. And hopefully not, but during the year, that may be some bit of drama, is that Marvin Mims may be unhappy with how he gets these reps on offense. His new agent and his new team, he did switch agents and teams. I think that was a signal to the Broncos. With this Marvin Mims trade, getting that agent and that new agency, change up, I think that was him telling the Broncos, I'm keeping an eye out on this situation. We'll see where I fit on offense, which was his own words when he went live for a Nuggets pregame, I think, with Vic Lombardi. I think he has easily, you get a 3rd-round pick for Marvin Mims. I think you can get a 3rd-round pick for Marvin Mims. Joseph, hello. Joseph, are you the same Joseph from the Tom Grossi event? If so, I hope you are. Hello, man. I hope everyone here, is having a great night, wonderful morning. Here at Still Up Sports, we just normalize late night sports talk. Starting with the Denver Broncos, but we cover anything, guys. We cover any Denver Broncos subject, any Broncos conversation, discussion, any sports conversation. Just let me know. Yeah, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, guys. Right here, you see us. We're at 103. Love to hit 104 on the stream. No, you're good, Joseph. I hope you're having a great night. I mixed you up with someone else. I met a guy named Joseph last month at a Tom Grossi fan event here in Vegas. So I was curious if you were that same Joseph. But I hope you're having a great night, Joseph. I hope you like, comment, subscribe if you're interested. You don't have to be. But, I talk late night sports. I'm just trying to normalize late night sports talk. So you don't have to subscribe. But if you would like to, I'm right here. Still Up Sports is a passion project of mine. It's a tiny little channel. We're a tiny little program. You probably joined me through the vertical stream. Some of these chats are from the vertical stream. And I just did that as a way to broaden and open up the possibility for who may pop in, who may not. But, I just talk late night sports, and we're just trying to get more subs on YouTube. We're trying to chase 500 by the start of the NFL season. So we can start making money off of our 24-hour streams to donate to charity. All of our 24-hour streams, once we get monetized, are all going to charity. So once we're monetized, 24-hour streams, all charity. Regular streams, that money can go into the channel. But 24-hour streams, once we do get monetized, guys, that's going to be all going straight into, an animal shelter or a cat shelter, probably. Probably the Animal Foundation or an animal shelter or a cat shelter. That's what the money would go to if we did 24-hour charity streams, which is what they would be once we do get monetized. All of those long ones would be for a purpose. Any short stream, that stuff would just go in towards trying to actually grow the channel in any way possible, whether it's equipment or anything else. But yeah, guys, go check us out on YouTube 103. We're talking Broncos. We're talking Denver Broncos trade candidates. I talked about Riley Moss for a little bit. The star cornerback too, plays opposite of Pat Surtain. I talked about Ben Powers, the Broncos left guard, pretty solid left guard coming off of injury. Final contract year, may have to repay him if you want to re-sign him. I don't think he's getting re-signed. So, maybe there's a slight chance that a team loses their guard and they're competing for a championship and they want to make the move. But yeah, so that's the page. Go check us out, guys. 103. Yeah, guys. So I think, we've talked about Moss. We've talked about Powers. I think Powers is, third likely to get traded, but he's not getting traded. Moss is second likely to get traded. I just don't think he's getting traded this offseason. I do think, though, your most likely Bronco to get traded is Marvin Mims. And again, there's multiple things going against him. One other thing, guys, I did get into it, but, his trade value, I think, is definitely a third or a fourth round. I think it's a third. I think you can justify a third because he's an all-pro returner, as well as he's a quality wide receiver. He just needs to run more routes, and he needs to get the targets more. But there's some teams where he could fit in a few of those offenses and not have to worry about learning a few other routes because he only knows, he knows what he needs. But one thing that's really going against Marvin Mims, guys, is he is in a room, and I mentioned it earlier, full of young wide receivers. You got Troy Franklin, you got Pat Bryant, and that's not counting the fact that you got those two big dogs at wide receiver 1A and wide receiver 1B in Jalen Waddle and Cortland Sutton. This duo is going to remind me, and it already reminds me of our Thunder or Lightning duo of DT and Emmanuel Sanders, two different players versus Jalen Waddle and Cortland. But there are days, there are games, there's definitely moments where I feel like I see DT playing on the field through Cortland with some of these spectacular sideline catches, some of these spectacular touchdown catches, spectacular third down catches. Being reliable on third. There's moments where I see Court, reminding me of at least shadows of DT at times. And there was games where DT did not need to go off because Emmanuel was going off. There was games where DT was going off and Emmanuel didn't need to. So I think with Jalen Waddle, guys, and this is a little look into what I think that Jalen's going to do this year. I think he's going 9-10 touchdowns with Jalen Waddle. Probably 1,200 yards. I think that's fair, just because of what he's put up with Tua the last year or two. I think that those are fair numbers, but I think that there may be 1-2 games here or there where Jalen maybe doesn't break more than 50 yards, 40 yards. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few games in this season where maybe Jalen doesn't go for a lot, but that's because maybe he's being a great distraction for either Troy or Pat or someone else. And the reason, another thing, guys, I have Troy Franklin really stepping up and grabbing this wide receiver 3 role. I think that it's a tough discussion either way. There's a lot of Pat Bryant fans, a lot of Marvin Mims fans, a lot of Troy Franklin fans. I'm a big Troy Franklin fan. He's going on year 3 in the Broncos, year 5 with Bo Nix. I think this 5th year of chemistry with Bo, these two already know each other so well. I think that, and we've seen Troy take a step up from his rookie year to his second year. There were drops last year. The Broncos got rid of their wide receiver coach, guys. There were drops from all these guys at times that did not make sense. I think Troy Franklin, if he stays healthy, no hamstring issues, as long as he's healthy and there's less drops, I think that Troy Franklin really steps up and takes that wide receiver 3 spot. It's a little spicy of a take because there's a lot of Pat Bryant love. I think that Pat Bryant takes Cortland Sutton's job after 1-2 more years. I think Pat Bryant takes his job as long as Pat stays healthy. I'm just worried about Pat Bryant's health, and I hope he keeps wearing, that guardian cap, because I worry for those concussions. There were 2 concussions he had, and one of them he came back and claimed that he wasn't unconscious or that he didn't have a concussion. But if you watch the play, he's unconscious. So it's like you're saying you weren't, that it wasn't a concussion as you're laying there unconscious. What are you supposed to get us feeling, or how are we supposed to think about that? It makes no sense. But, so I think that there's a lot of things working out against Marvin Mims, whether it's the amount of reps he's going to get. And the only saving grace for Marvin Mims, guys, is if Davis Webb uses him on offense. That's the only saving grace, because if he does not get the reps on offense that he wants, he will use this new agent from this new agency, and he will tell the Broncos, I don't want to play returner anymore. I just want to play wide receiver, and if I'm not going to get these reps or targets, I want out. And we'll see if that results into something. I think he's a 3rd round pick talent, but if you have to give him a 4th, if you have to take a 4th or something to get him out of conference, get him somewhere where you're not worried about it, I would do it. Because if you're taking in 3s as options from AFC teams, I would gladly take a 4th just to send him out of the conference, because I worry about Marvin ending up on some of these teams, whether it's the Bengals, the Ravens, the Patriots, the Bills, the Chiefs. I don't want him in our conference, guys. I think Marvin is gone, and I think it's during the year. I think Marvin gets traded during the season, and I think that's just because of the fact that 1, he's not going to get what he wants, but 2, I think he has some of the highest trade potential of those 3 guys. Some people may think that you can get like a 3 or a 4 for Moss. I think that truly it's Mims you can get a 3 for. He's young. Mims is young, and he hasn't gotten the opportunities on offense, which means there's still possibly a lot more there. So there's a lot to be excited with that discussion. So I'm excited for Mims. I'm excited to see if Davis Webb uses him, because that is our only saving grace with Marvin Mims, is if Davis Webb, this new play caller, who did not install a new offense. He just added some tweaks to the Sean Payton offense that he was a QB coach in the last year or two. So I fully expect Davis Webb to really get this offense humming. I know what it wants, but does that mean Marvin Mims gets the targets? I don't know. Again, my prediction is Troy Franklin as that true wide receiver 3. I'd love to see Troy, Court, and Jalen Waddle out there. I think that it makes a lot of sense to keep Marvin around and not trade Marvin. I do not want Marvin to get traded. I will say that right now. Wide receiver, cornerback, offensive line, defensive line. A lot of these rooms, guys, tight end can definitely get a boost. Running back, you want to see it even perform better than it did last year. But in terms of O-line, cornerback, or wide receiver, I don't want to see any of these guys leave during the season because I think we need as much depth as possible to make it through this season. It is going to be a daunting season. I would not be surprised if you see this depth get tested at a few of these positions, whether it is offensive line, whether it is this wide receiver room, because you get 1 or 2 guys with concussions or injuries. And let's just say you get a Pat Bryant concussion again, and let's say in the same game you get a Cortland Sutton or a Jalen Waddle, hamstring or ankle injury. Knock on wood. But that's my point is you want this depth. You love this depth. And maybe you don't want to trade it away. Maybe you want to keep this team. You brought everyone back and you ran it back in free agency the way you did because you want to keep this whole team back and see if it brings you all the way back to where you were. Because the theory is that with a healthy Bo Nix and with a Jalen Waddle, that running it back with all these guys get you right back where you were, and then helps you get that half game over the hump into the Super Bowl. That's the belief by running it back this way, guys. So I truly believe that you don't want to trade any of these guys. I think it's a big possibility. I'm leaning into 70% Marvin does get traded. I hope he doesn't. I want not one of these guys to get traded. And this was our topic for the show right now, guys, is who gets traded. And I have your 3 possible options, and then you could say other if you have another option. I think that Moss is possible. I don't think he gets traded. I think they play it out into the offseason and then let him walk. Because they're not going to sign him. I think that Ben Powers is an option only if a team gets an injury at that position and is really in need of it. And if you really are that certain about those young guys, I don't think that's the case. I don't think Ben Powers gets traded. I don't think Riley Moss gets traded. I do think Mims gets traded, but I don't want him to. I don't want any of these guys traded. I just want this team to run it back with the same guys they had in all these position groups, plus the little bit of fun additions they added, like a Jalen Waddle, like the extra depth at tight end, the extra excitement you have at tight end, with maybe, because it sounds like Ingram was getting a lot of targets in training camp. Maybe Davis Webb, because he did call that Cardinals game in last training camp. That was in last preseason, that was the Davis Webb game where Evan Ingram looked pretty good against the Cardinals. There was that. Maybe Davis Webb knows how to use Evan Ingram because these two did go back into the same draft class. They were from the same class. Maybe he does know how to use Evan. Or at least know, or at least have an idea what he wants. If anything, if he's given him the targets, if Evan Ingram gets a peak of target, a bit more targets, that's less targets for Mims already. So I think that there's a chance that there's a lot of stacking against Mims, but I don't want no one traded. I want this team running it back. All these guys run it back. Get back to the AFC Championship game, but instead of it going the way it did, have Bo win it for you, move on to the Super Bowl, cap off an amazing year, guys. Have Bo raise that new child. It's only a baby. By then, he'll still be a kid. Have Bo raise that kid in the air just like Drew Brees. I can see it now, and we're manifesting it, guys. Yes, guys, thank you so much for popping in. If you are new here, my name is Cody Chapa. with Still Up Sports, we normalize late night sports talk. Your Denver Broncos, your combat sports, your NFL, your NBA, NHL, World Cup, hockey, all this stuff, guys. We talk sports. We do it late night, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 1:30 a.m. And then during the regular season, we also do watch-alongs on the weekends as well. Here in the off season, especially during the dead middle period of the NFL off season, we do whatever. That's why this weekend on Saturday, I am going to a soccer game to celebrate the 4th of July. But guys, we are also going to go check out International Fight Week and try to cover day 3 of the SAC Summit the following week. And then after that, we're going to get back into 24-hour streams until Broncos training camp begins. So, there's a lot to stay tuned in for, guys. This channel is growing. We're at 103 right now on YouTube, all a testament to you amazing people watching and supporting. If you're watching on X, if you're watching on YouTube, go subscribe. It really helps a lot. Go like. The like button means a lot to YouTube. YouTube is obsessed with the like button. Like button really helps. So go hit the like button. Also check us out on X or Twitter, guys. If you're on X, we're right there. We're at 105 followers. We appreciate the support on all these social media platforms. Besides that, guys, we are on TikTok. These streams are going to be on TikTok soon, where we're going to be doing these multi-streams all at the same time. Right now, we're on YouTube and X. Soon it's going to be YouTube, X, TikTok. As well as we're going to sprinkle in the occasional show or the occasional live stream on Instagram. So here's the Instagram page, guys. Go check us out on Instagram, because in the future, I will be doing solely Instagram only streams just for some of you awesome people who are following me on Instagram. Instagram feels more personal, more up close and personal, and I appreciate it, guys. And of course, like I said, on YouTube, right now 103. Let's try to get 104, 105 in these next few days. I know that a lot of you guys are going to be watching after the fact. This is why I constantly remind you guys, like, comment, subscribe. The comments are cool because I can engage with you in the comments, and that's why I want you to give me your opinion on JMac, on who gets traded. In general, when you comment, I want to know what you have in your mind about the Broncos, about the NFL, everything. I want to know what you want to talk about so we can hit these subjects. By the way, guys, another thing with the channel, another bit of news. Let's see. This background is not going to be our background in the future. Our amazing woman who has done our graphics and our animations and such, she is working on a background. So soon, this will not be our background. Soon, we will have a proper background. And I let her, she knows what we do here at Still Up Sports. She's designed this logo for us, guys. She designed this logo. She designed our banner, and she's designed some awesome stuff for us. She's designed these awesome animations that you see right here, whether it's my intro, outro videos, or, these be right backs, or starting soon, things like that, or my intermission, she's made all of these. So she's going to be making us a background, and we'll see what it looks like. I trust her to make it a pretty cool one. We usually, when she does this, she knows what I want. She makes an idea and we spitball and go back and forth. Sometimes she creates back and forth, but I get endless drafts. So she knows who she is. She's amazing. She's going to work on our background for that, so that way when we are on something cool to put behind us, because there's some angles sometimes where we can be sitting like this, guys, and you see that background. So we want something that looks a little more pleasant like that, guys. So she's working on that, and that's going to be pretty cool. Besides that, I'm learning how to make thumbnails, because the thumbnails are going to be important. We're going to eventually start cranking out videos pretty often. Until we crank out videos pretty often, we're going to probably start cranking out more shorts pretty often. Yeah. We're going to be cranking out more shorts pretty often. More videos coming out soon, guys. We're very new. We're working on this. We're growing in terms of production, screen time, writing, scripting, all this stuff. We didn't have much practice. I wish I could have interned somewhere or something so I could know how to do this stuff better. But I'm just grateful to be doing this with you guys. So we're working on it. And our production value, our production quality, it's just going to keep getting better as I learn what I'm doing on here, guys. There's a lot to learn. And sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes, there's hiccups. Sometimes there's bumps in the road. I did most of our streams for this channel on Streamlabs. So this is only like our third or fourth one on StreamYard. This is like our fourth show on StreamYard because we've done 2 24 hours and then one show in between. So this is only our fourth time on StreamYard doing a show. We still have to mess with the recording equipment on here. We got all kinds of stuff to learn. Besides that, again, I'm really trying to learn some thumbnails because thumbnails is something I need to know how to do on my own. I can't have someone else doing those for me. I need to crank out some good thumbnails so that videos come off a little different. But yeah, guys, if you're watching, I just want to say thank you for being here. Again, one last shout out for all this stuff real quick. So first, go check out Goonsville. I said it already earlier. Go support Goonsville. Goonsville is like family to Still Up Sports. All about owning your own craft. Here's the Greek hat right here, guys. You see me rocking it. The Greek hat is amazing. It is immaculate. And the Greek Festival just happened in Denver. There's going to be a Greek Festival here in Vegas, and I'm going to make sure that I just go represent the Goonsville and wear the Ville at the festival, go check in and experience that amazing culture of Petros's. Petros is like a brother to me, a younger brother that I would look up to. That's how I see Petros, because he is younger than me, but I definitely look up and admire some of the stuff he's doing, man. His effort, his work effort, his belief in what he does, that's awesome. And, here at Still Up Sports, we believe in Still Up Sports the same that he believes in the Goonsville. And so I just rep the Goonsville because, one, it's a clean brand. It looks great. At one point, Petros is going to make me some Goonsville Still Up Sports stuff. I want a few polos, some Still Up Sports polos to rep, look professional. But then in the future, I want me a Still Up Sports hoodie, a Still Up Sports, beanie, hat, stuff like that. So me and Petros are going to work on some of that in the future. And we'll go from there. But yeah, guys, if you're watching right now, make sure you go support Goonsville. Again, I put in an order, so I have some cool stuff coming. We're going to open it either on air or do a separate video, but I'm pumped for it. But go check out Goonsville, go support. And then while you are here, guys, we are at 103 on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube right now, hit the subscribe button, hit a like, hit the comments, leave something after the fact, and see if we can hit 105 in the next few days. That would be amazing. We're just trying to grow and normalize late night sports talk. I get off work at midnight, and that's 1 a.m. Mountain Time, and I just try to normalize and push late night sports talk. Late night sports talk means the world to me because when I get off work, there's none of it for me to engage in and take in and enjoy at this time. So I chose that I will be the one that has to do that. So, I'm just a small creator, but we're also one day won't be a small creator. One day I won't be able to read every comment. Here, I have a still chat. Maybe one day these chats are just going to be blowing by and it'll be hard. So this is the best time to get in and support because I'm always going to be able to read your comments, respond to your comments, everything. So feel free to pop in. I'm just grateful. We went up from 102 to 103 in this stream. So one of you awesome people made sure to subscribe. So I appreciate you guys. Again, my name's Cody Chapa. Late night sports talk means the world to me, and it should mean the world to you if you are a sports fan, because we care about other sports fans and we don't want no one missing out. There's a lot of fun to be had talking late night, and these shows are they may be coming off as just me and small for now. One day we're going to have guests. One day we're going to film amazing interviews. One day we're going to make some fun segments. I got to get better with the producing and stuff. Next thing you know, I'll be able to pull up Excel documents and pull up some awesome stuff I do for you. But no, there's all kinds of cool stuff coming, guys. So just stay tuned. Keep your eyes out for what we may be posting in the future. There's some cool things coming. Like this, the Aces. The Lights game I'm going to this weekend. Following weekend, International Fight Week and the SAC Summit. After that, we're going to be doing another 1 or 2 24-hour streams before training camp. We're going to start a series with shorts, guys. There's going to be a series on the shorts where I'm going to spend each short just talking about a player deep dive, but it's going to be like a rapid fire. So only like in a minute. So like 60 seconds to talk about a player. That's what we're going to do. And it's going to be where, for 60 seconds, we do a deep dive into each player on this team. Or at least the starters for sure. And I think that will be fun to do. And, we're going to keep working on all this stuff, but I'm just grateful for the support. You guys make this possible. This is not me making this possible. It's you guys, viewers, that make this possible. So again, guys, you're going to love these 24-hour streams. You're going to love some of these people I'm going to try to reel in. You're going to love some of this stuff, guys. But yeah, go check us out on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram. I appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. I wouldn't be here without you. If you have any comments, questions, get them in now. I'm going to pop off the stream in about 10 minutes, and we'll go from there. No Friday stream because we just went live. So we'll be back on Monday, maybe Sunday, but definitely on Monday, guys. We'll be back on Monday, Monday at 1:30 a.m. Mountain Time. So stay tuned. We're going to have a fun show. I've started writing. I got one topic planned for that. And should I tell you? No, we're not going to. We're going to save it, guys. We're going to save it. We're going to finish the rest of the script tonight. And then besides that, we got to spend this weekend working on making thumbnails or finding out how to make them or trying to make them. That's the point, is by the end of the weekend, we want to have a thumbnail made. So we at least know what we're doing, or at least can be one step further than we were before. But yeah, guys, so, we're on all these cool platforms, and I just appreciate the support on any of them, any one of them that you prefer. But yeah, guys, to be at 103, pretty incredible, because you can see our growth right there. And that's our growth going back to, let's go back here. Oops. All right. Our growth going back to January, you can see it. It's pretty big. And that's because of you guys. So, just pat on your guys' back. You guys deserve the round of applause. And then that's all for you. You guys deserve that. Man, congratulations for just making late night sports talk normal. And we're going to keep normalizing it. And next thing you know, it's going to be worldwide. So then when people are talking sports, they're not going to stop at midnight. They're going to make sure that someone's filling the gap. I may only do it with the Broncos, and then whatever you guys bring towards me or whatever's hot and popular to talk about. But in the future, guys, it's going to be other content creators out there making sports shows in the middle of the night. We're just grateful to be the first one doing it. We're your exclusive source for late night Denver Broncos sports talk. As well as sports talk in general. We're your exclusive source. We're the only source. If you're a Broncos fan and you work late at night, you work the graveyard, you work these late shifts, we're here for you. My analysis will get better. I'm growing from casual fan to someone who reports and covers on this team the best that they can. So I'm going to keep getting better. My coverage is going to keep getting better. We do not have any questions in. So if no one leaves a question in the next few minutes, we are probably popping out. We're definitely popping out. But yeah, guys, we're going to pop off. in a few minutes. This is your chance to get your questions in. I'll answer them. We had some great conversation, great discussion, and topics for today. You know, we talked about paying JMac, how important that is, how paying JMac is great because then you can have the best corner and then the best slot corner locked down on your team. I think that's great. Bring back those Aqib Talib, Chris Harris vibes. And then, you know, again, who gets traded? I don't think I want anyone traded, honestly, but I think Mims has the most potential to get traded. I think just because of the fact that there's a lot working against him, all these young receivers, you know, I think that him getting an agent is not a sign that I'm happy for. I'm not happy for that sign. And these receivers are going to push him. If he does not get the reps he wants by week 5, 6, I think that Mims maybe steps off and or at least asks, you know, for a trade. I think that there's just so much really working against him that he does get traded. I just hope not. I have it my way. These Broncos keep this team together and intact, and they run it back like they said they would. Truly run it back and don't lose anyone. That would make me plenty happy. All right, guys. You know, we have gone for what was an hour and 55 minutes. It is now 4:02 a.m. Mountain Time. Normally we go for a little bit longer. I started the show a little later, and during the off season, these shows will start probably at 1 a.m. Mountain Time instead of 12:30. But during the regular season, 12:30 a.m. Mountain Time to about 4:30 or so, that will be our goal. It's just filling some of that hour or two of those 4 hours, because 2 hours I can easily go and talk, but then we want another hour, 2 hours of content that I can drip and sprinkle in there and divide the talking up with, whether it's a 20-30 minute interview that because all these, any content I film will be aired on stream first, then in a separate video or a short, unless it's just an exclusive short. But yeah, guys, so you can see I'm ambitious. I got a lot of plans coming up, guys. We're just going to stay positive and stay focused on what's coming up for the channel. But yeah, guys, so we're at 103 on YouTube. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. We're going to head out of here, guys. I know that it is only, you know, a Thursday, but just, you know, stay tuned. You know, the week's almost over for you guys. You're almost done. You know, you got it. You know, Friday's right here. It is just a day away, and then boom, you're into your weekend, guys. So you guys got this. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I enjoy sitting here and talking sports with you guys. Again, much love to Goonsville. Much love to everyone in the chat. You know, for whoever did pop in what time that was left. The cat wants in, so I think that's the sign that we need to pop off, guys. My name is Cody Chapa. This is Still Up Sports, guys. Thank you so much for joining us and being still up with us. Just remember that you like, subscribe, and comment. And thank you, guys. I appreciate you. All right, let me see if I can send you guys out of here properly. Let's see.